I think island states truly understand how important sustainability is for development. And all too often, some people think that to be thinking about the environment or sustainability on one hand will prevent or hinder development. But what we believe is quite the opposite, that they're not in tension, they're actually mutually interdependent. And I think that is nowhere more true than actually in islands. We need to see that type of leadership that recognizes that what matters for the planet also matters for people. And I think where Aruba is going in terms of demonstrating kind of leadership on this issue, both within what takes place within Aruba, but also quite importantly, how Aruba can be a role model for other island states and other countries around the world, absolutely important. We need to see more of those lessons being learned across different countries. I think different islands have shown leadership on individual types of issues, but what we heard today, what Aruba is really demonstrating, is really how to look at this in a much more comprehensive and a much more transformative manner. And that's what I think we find quite encouraging, and why we were quite keen to have him headline this particular event today. The issue that came up that I thought was particularly interesting was the importance of technology and the role that technology development can play in both promoting development, but doing so in a way that was both inclusive and sustainable, and demonstrating how this can take place in islands, in developing countries, for countries that may not necessarily know how to best leverage technology is a really important contribution that Aruba can make.
World Resources Institute is a global research institute. We work in about 50 countries around the world, and we have offices in 9. And we work on 6 global challenges: food, forests, water, climate change, energy, and cities. And they all relate to each other, and that's what we've been talking about tonight, because they're all to do with the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Accord. We do a lot of work in the emerging countries. We have offices in China and India and Indonesia and Brazil and Mexico and so on. We work in some small island states as well, and increasingly in Africa. The SIDS obviously are the most affected of all countries on climate change, and so we do a lot of work on the issue of adaptation and resilience. We have a large team of 100 people working on climate change to stop climate change, but of course we're not going to stop it fully. And so we have another large team working on the issue of resilience. The kind of vision that you are trying to implement in Aruba is exactly what we need to do. Focusing on, the SIDS should be the first to get access to renewable energy, because most small island developing states have actually paid very, very high costs for their electricity because they import diesel or something like that. And so what you're doing in Aruba is really very exciting. We'd be very pleased to partner with Aruba. We're looking for leaders that are willing to step out and make the right decisions. We want to not only support them for their own sake, but we want to then hold them up as examples that others may follow.